So today we are so pleased to have with us a fellow Toastmaster, Johnathan Albury, who is a marketing specialist and entrepreneur based right here in Nassau, Bahamas. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Communications from Lancaster Bible College and is currently pursuing an MBA with a specialization in marketing. With expertise in digital marketing, social media strategy, and videography, he works with clients across the Caribbean to strengthen their digital presence and brand visibility. Jonathan is also an active member of Toastmasters International through Toastmasters Club 1600, where he continues to develop his leadership and communication skills. He is passionate about helping professionals and businesses grow their brands while contributing to community development and innovation across the West Indies. Please help me welcome our esteemed speaker for this evening, Mr. Johnathan Albury.
Thank you so much for that awesome bio reading. Good evening, everyone. Oh boy. So normally with my sessions, thank you, Judy, for the hand claps. Normally with my sessions, I like a little bit of interaction. So if at any point during the session you have a question or you're curious about something, feel free to open your mic and stop me. But give me a second to share my screen. Awesome stuff. Can you guys let me know when you can see my screen, please? Good, awesome. Yeah, so today we'll be talking about the art of being seen, a guide to using video to build your personal brand. And just a quick little, yes, just go into a quick little bit about who I am. My bio would have already been read, but I do have 5+ years of experience in video production. I have led multiple organizations, and I am the founder of Creative Growth, but that's just the surface level of what I do and the reasoning behind. And I think it was Simon Sinek who said to always start with why. So why video? Why videography? Why push for more brands and business professionals like yourself to consider video video positioning? It's because during my time in the States, I attended Lancaster Bible College, and what I noticed was that it wasn't so much the skill, it wasn't the certifications, it wasn't even the experience that got those 5%, 1% people in the positions that they were. It was simply just the visibility aspect of it. And what I noticed is that as I took that knowledge and brought it back home, and I showed it to different individuals here, that they were able to break through. I'm talking about people who were behind the scenes, so to speak, in the industries. They became more well known. I just recently started working with a client who was a fitness trainer, and we were able to move him from about, I want to say 10 leads, 10 clients, so where his programs are now bringing in 30+ people for his sessions. So it's definitely something where I believe that the secret to getting where you want to be is video positioning. So moving forward. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. So a simple equation I want everybody to focus on is 100 skills times zero visibility equals zero opportunity. So I know we're all here, whether you're have your PMP, your MBA, striving for your MBA, whatever goal you're trying to achieve, please be sure that you talk about it. As a Bahamian, especially growing up here in Nassau, you don't really like to share what you do. People are quick to attach that label of, oh, why are you trying to brag? Or why are you trying to boast about yourself? And there's a certain aura of seclusion of where you need to constantly be hiding what you're trying to do. But that doesn't get you into the rooms where you want to be. So I heavily encourage once again for you to think about the next time you're leading a project, the next time you're speaking, the next time you're baking a cake for your family. Think about if this is something that you want to expose to the wider audience, if this is something where you want to be known for, be willing to just think about, can I record this and showcase this to others? Moving forward. Awesome. So quick question. What grabbed your attention first there? And unfortunately, you'll have to open your mic and give me a response.
Well, I would honestly say the first thing that my eyes gravitated towards was the video versus the flyer.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Yes, agreed. The movement,
Same.
definitely.
Yeah, same for me.
Good stuff, good stuff. So this is one of the many benefits of using video. What I've seen so far, I'll talk a lot about the Bahamas because I live here. It's what I studied. It's the market I've studied so far in the majority of my career. Bahamians like to use flyers to promote their businesses and to promote what they do. And while that's not an issue, and it's no offense to Bahamian business owners, it's a lazy way of trying to get attention. It also causes a situation of where you blend in with other flyers. And before you make mention of this is a template flyer. This is no one's business. I am not talking bad with anybody. However, I do want to make notice of something of where, as you saw, the movement of the video, the eye-catching details, the speaker. If you were scrolling through social media, you would naturally stop on this video. And I don't have the audio playing for this for, for seclusion, for secret reasons, for privacy reasons, sorry. But you would probably turn on the audio and try to figure out, okay, well, what is this speaker talking about? Is he the MC? Is he leading the event? What type of event is this? Obviously, it's a wedding or a wedding ceremony, but you would be more inclined to stop and pay attention to the video. So moving forward, why choose video? Starting off, you build trust faster. I know I started the session by saying that many of us have places that we want to get to. And it's a shame on me. I was supposed to ask you guys what your personal goals are in your careers, but I'll make some assumptions that we're all trying to get to that next level in our careers. If you're looking for a way to get senior management, your boss, clients, leads, you need to be able to instill in them a sense of trust that you, one, you're a good person, and then two, you know exactly what you're doing and what you're talking about. And the easiest way to do that is to showcase yourself using video. Because once again, with a flyer, there's no soul in a flyer. I can't hear you, I can't see your face, I can't see your focal variety, your body expressions. But when you use that video, it gives you a chance to be able to showcase to anybody around the world, hey, this is exactly who I am, and there's no veil of secrecy. Be able to give that personality to your clients or upper management. Then you show instead of telling. You don't want to be what I like to call, what's the saying? Spark without the fire. I believe that's how you say it. Where, oh, I'm a videographer. Oh, I'm a project manager. Oh, I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. Okay, you're telling me you're doing these things, but where's the proof? Where's the examples? You say you want to reach that next level. You say you want to become a manager. You say you want to lead teams, but you show me nothing to say that you know exactly what you're doing. Video gives you that opportunity of where you can now showcase, hey, this is a video of me teaching a class of 100 students, obviously made up numbers, but teaching a class of 100 students. Here's me leading a team through a project management timeline. Video is able to give you that, essentially that proof to say, I know exactly what I'm doing. And then finally, 24/7 salesperson. I can only talk to you in person about video for so long. I can only tell you that I'm a videographer for about 24 hours. Or even for about 8 hours. I gotta go to bed. So from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., a typical workday, I can communicate with you about video. I can come to your set. I can talk to you about everything good about video. But after that, who is promoting myself? Who is promoting video? The benefit is that once you record a video and you post it to your platform of choice, that video doesn't sleep. It's constantly working and promoting you in whatever field or market that you want to position yourself in. So I know that Andrea said she was an international public speaker. I'm pretty sure she's taken that speech and posted it on YouTube, and that speech has gotten where maybe not here in the Bahamas, but people from around the world who will come to her and comment on the videos and will say, "Hey, you're an international speaker. Can you share with me some advice? Hey, you're an international speaker. Can you please speak at this next event?" So by posting that one video or sharing that one clip, you're able to hire a personal salesperson to constantly promote and push you. Any questions so far? Am I going too fast? We good? I can't see your screen, so I can need.
Yeah, we're good. No questions from me.
Thank you so much, Judy. Awesome. So moving forward. Yes. And then the three negative mindsets, real quick. Is anyone in here camera shy or video shy?
I'm not camera or video shy. I'm just not camera ready.
Okay.
Same here.
Camera ready. That's interesting. That's my first time hearing that. What do you mean by that? Not camera ready.
I was going to say the same thing, and I feel that way all the time because I'm not a person who, is overly feminine. Like I don't wear makeup on a regular basis.
Oh.
So some persons will feel like if they don't have makeup on or if their hair
Mm.
isn't fixed a certain way, then they're not ready to be on camera. That's what camera ready is. Like you have to give this professional look.
That's interesting. Okay, that's my first time hearing about that. All right. I
Maybe it's
love
more
that.
of a female thing than a male thing
I
because
I
males
didn't
only have to brush hair and
I wasn't gonna make that point.
Well, it's funny you guys say that because I've worked with quite a few guys who use that same line. But
Wow.
the reason I said it specific to me is
Mhm.
because I didn't know that we would be on camera. So I wasn't prepared to be on
Supposed to be on
camera.
camera.
So I'm just in a place where I wouldn't be putting on makeup, but I would at least have a decent top on, make
Hmm.
sure I don't have my bandana and my hair isn't looking crazy. Like, yeah, I
Yes.
would make sure that I am camera appropriate based
Okay.
on my comfortability. So that's just how I see it.
Good stuff. Okay. Well, I'll give that one a pass because that's very important, especially as a professional. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go throughout the presentation. But a big thing about when you make your videos, I'm not going to recommend to you guys just take out your phone and record anything because you guys are professionals and you want to portray a certain light about who you are and the work you do. But in terms of other mindsets I've heard in regards to recording content, there's three that always stick out. First, it's too late. Second, imposter syndrome. Am I smart enough? Or do I have what it takes to be talking about what I'm talking about? And finally, the fear of being judged, especially once again in the Caribbean diaspora. That fear of being judged, I don't want people in my business. That's why I hear quite a lot. So starting off with it's too late. No, it's not. Social media is something where it's continuing to evolve. And despite the many content influencers you will scroll past, many videos you will see, the many advertisements, there is a small percentage of content creators posting the content. And you can look it up, you can do the research on it. There is, I forgot the quote, but I believe it's where at least 20% of the audience on any given social media platform are producing 80% of the content. So you have a handful of people who are actually producing the content that you engage with. So once again, I'll use I believe it was Trudy who was the teacher. Am I correct? Or was it Nicole?
No, I'm not a teacher.
Someone said they were an educator. Am I mistaken?
I work in education, but I'm not an educator. I actually am like
Interesting.
partnerships and relationships manager. So
Ah, my apologies, my apologies.
all good.
Yes. So, yeah, so regardless of your industry, I can guarantee you that if you were to start sharing content, you will be amongst a small percentage of people sharing content. It isn't something where we have this thing of where we look at the Gary Vaynerchuks, we look at the Simon, we look at the big name celebrities who are posting content, and we just naturally assume that because they're doing it, it's already a saturated field. When in actuality, it's where, once again, it's a small percent of people who are creating the content you're engaging with. Moving on, imposter syndrome. I don't feel smart enough to talk about project management. I don't feel like I'm qualified enough to talk about finance. I had a client where he is a broker handling the trader, sorry, handling finance. And he said to me, Albury, I don't really feel qualified enough to talk about what I talk about. And I told him you have to think about it like this. We all at different points of our lives. You may have someone who's had 10 years of experience at the top. Then you have 5 years, then you have 3 years, and then you have those just entering into the market. What you have to understand, if you're at that 5 year, 3 year point, you can still give information to help those just getting into the market. If you're at that 10 year point, obviously you can help those in the 5 year, 3 year, and anything below. But you have to consider where each of us has interesting and unique experiences in education. So whatever information that you know, you can share. Finally, my favorite, the fear of being judged. If you want to move up, this is something that was told to me when I gave the same excuse. If you want to move up, you cannot be afraid of being judged by people, regardless of industry, regardless of sector. You have to show face in order to get promoted, in order to get that raise. Whatever you want to achieve, once you're moving up or you want to move up, you must put yourself forward. So, nice. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of marketing 101. And anytime you think of positioning yourself, you'll see these three main points come up. First off, the people. You have to start by saying, who do I want to engage with? Who am I trying to position myself in front of? Many people make the mistake of saying that, okay, I'm gonna make content about project management education. I'll just make it for everybody. That is a fatal mistake, and what you'll find is that you'll be burnt out making so much content and getting little to no results because your audience can't really pinpoint where to place you. And for example, are you a project manager who deals with construction? You deal with corporate? Are you worried more about the nonprofit sector? You have to really sit down and ask yourself, okay, I know that I'm trying to relocate into the nonprofit sector. Then I would ask you, okay, nonprofit. Nonprofit as in children's, what's the word? In government, nonprofit, the government sector, or are you trying to be a nonprofit raising funds for children's events? You have to further niche down to where you get to a point of where you know exactly what you're talking about and you're serving a small sector of a certain people. Then your message. What do you want to tell these people? Obviously, the message would be to further build upon the fact of who you are and what you have to share. And then finally, the medium. How are you going to reach these people? And once again, as we get further along the presentation, I'll talk about certain mediums you can use, but these are the main three key factors which you want to focus on. The people is the most important thing to start with. Start with the people. Who am I trying to reach? The message. What exactly do I want to tell them? And then finally, the medium. If you find yourself ever doing a marketing strategy, a marketing campaign, or anything to gather the attention of people, this will be your bread and butter. Moving on. Yes. So choosing a platform. So you've already decided you want to get, let's use for example, you're a fitness enthusiast and you want to attract typical gym goers between the ages of 18 to 27. And you're trying to share the message of where you're trying to push the power of stretching, of yoga. So you have your people and you have your message. But how do you connect with that audience? You need to now do your research and decide what platform is the best for you. And I'm sure we've seen these names before we recognize the names: LinkedIn, Meta, and TikTok. And just for everyone's knowledge, Meta includes Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So they're all bunched under one umbrella company. So if you're a professional, you're looking to attract a more professional audience, you would go with LinkedIn. If you're looking to attract an all-around blend, I would say Facebook. I'll break them down. I would say Facebook because Facebook is one still and still is the most popular social media platform, which will capture a wide array of people. Same thing with Instagram. And I think WhatsApp is more, depends on the sector, because I know WhatsApp in America isn't that big. Last time I checked, isn't that big. I think that's more of a Caribbean thing, definitely in the Bahamas. Jamaica, maybe. I'll let someone else speak to that. And then finally, if you want to attract a younger audience, TikTok is your way to go. Moving forward. Yes. So you've picked your
Johnathan,
medium.
sorry,
Yeah.
before you move forward, back
Yeah.
to your last slide, your previous slide,
Yes.
you said to pick one, stick to one platform for now,
Yes.
right? And you gave us examples of, okay, who what kind of people normally on these different platforms. LinkedIn for the professional folks, Facebook has a wide variety, and TikTok is for the young chickadees. So as someone who isn't as tech savvy,
Mhm.
which platform would you recommend? Or it's not really based on the experience level, it's based on the audience they're trying to reach. How would you advise that person?
Okay. Thank you for the question. I would always say to once again start with the people because I understand that technology is advancing so rapidly nowadays, and one day Facebook is easy to use, next day they've added 10 different features and trying to figure out what to do. But I will always say if your target audience you want to reach is on Facebook, you have to find a way to get on Facebook. And to the point of where a person isn't tech savvy, we live in the AI generation. You can go on ChatGPT, Claude, trusty old Google is still there. Facebook 101, how to use Facebook 101. That's something where I tell people where don't let the lack of knowledge stop you from pursuing your target audience. It doesn't take much to go on the Google search bar and type in exactly what you want to know. So that would be my response to one, follow your target audience. So
I have another quick question before you move
no
on.
problem. Go ahead.
Why are you advising to stick to one platform? And when you say for now, how long is that now?
Thank you. Awesome question. So the reason why I'm saying stick to one platform is because it can be really stressful starting off, trying to, okay, I have to post to Facebook, then I have to post to Instagram, then I have to post to TikTok, then I have to post to LinkedIn. Because I understand of where you want to, once again, you want to capture everybody with your content. But what happens is that when you niche down and say, okay, my clients are all on LinkedIn. I'm going to focus on LinkedIn until I reach a certain set goal. Then I'll expand out. Because what happens is that you now have the opportunity to focus and learn LinkedIn. Learn the features, learn how it operates, learn your best times to post, learn your analytics. You can now study LinkedIn. And after you've reached the goal with LinkedIn, you've gotten the followers you want, you've gotten the leads you want, you got the feedback that you wanted. You can now step back and say, okay, I've gotten all I can from LinkedIn. Now where do I move from now? So the reason why I say to stick to one is because of ease, simplicity, and just to make sure you're not overwhelming yourself, worrying about so many different algorithms, so many different functions and features. You want to make sure that you can wrap your head around one first, especially when you're starting off. So thank you for that question again.
I actually have one more question related to this slide.
Yes.
And
Sorry.
it's just because in the beginning you were strictly focusing on like video. How come YouTube is not on here?
YouTube, you got me. I ran out of space. YouTube was also another option, obviously, YouTube Shorts. These are just, guys, these are just examples of different platforms that you can use. YouTube is obviously one of the biggest video platforms. It is up to you to do your research and once again decide where your people are at. Thank you, Nicole, for that call out. You got me red-handed.
Oh, I was just curious if it wasn't like a primary tooler, but I mean, most of the shorts and videos are on
Yeah.
YouTube as far as I see, right? So I was just
Yes.
curious.
Yeah. Yeah, and YouTube is like I said, YouTube is still a viable option. Once again, it just depends on where your audience is at. If you know your audience is focuses heavy on video-based content, then it could be something where YouTube, my fault, long form video content, YouTube could be an option for you. And when it comes to market research, that's a little out of scope for this presentation, but that's definitely something where I recommend everybody, if you have the free time, to spend some studying on marketing research just to get a better understanding of how to track your people down. But thank you for that question. All right, moving forward. Yeah, so setting up a page. I wasn't going to include this, but it was done to me, so I have to do it. This is how you set up a page, nice and simple. And I'll start with the headshot, nice, clean, professional headshot. I'm sure all of you are professionals, but you have to say it. No, no pictures of where you use your phone, no dark images, no images in your car. I've seen it before. We've all seen it before. When scrolling through LinkedIn different profiles, you want to be sure that the audience you're trying to engage has a very, very good first impression of you. If you scroll through certain, and let's be honest, we all scroll through LinkedIn, Instagram, any social media platform, and you've gotten a friend request from a certain person. And you look at the picture, and you're like, I don't think I want to follow this person. So that first picture is the first time your person will ever see you. And before they get to your video, they have to, in this case, look at your picture. Moving on, once you have a professional headshot, professional picture, and let me come back to that first. A professional headshot doesn't mean that you go to a professional photographer and you spend $300 to $500 on getting headshots. All it simply means is that you are front facing your camera, your face is well lit, and we're able to clearly see who you are. That's all. That's all you need to accomplish. Then a description of what you do. And let me start by saying this is all a template of, obviously this is my LinkedIn, this is what I do. But you want to ensure that by the time the person first comes to your profile, they can easily assess what you do and how you can help them. So I help business owners and professionals use video and communication to get promoted and recognized. Easy. When you come to my LinkedIn, you know rather quickly what I do and how I can help you. And then the additional information, if you have a website, you can create a website. I personally recommend all professionals have a website to make sure it's a safety net. Because while these platforms are good, Mark Zuckerberg can wake up tomorrow and say, I'm shutting Facebook down. I'm shutting your individual profile down. Meta, the owners of LinkedIn, can do the same thing. So you want to ensure that you always have a loop back to a site or platform you control. So you can always send your clients, you can send the people you're trying to attract right back to where you can control that platform. And then a banner. So once again, simplicity, what's the algorithm? Keep it simple, stupid. Yes, KISS in this situation. Always be willing to keep it simple just so you don't confuse your audience. Any questions on this, or I can move forward? You good? Awesome. All right. Yes. So you set up the profile, you've made sure you have a clean image, no dark images. Everything is good to go. You have your nice, simplistic description and banner. Now it's time for your first video post. What in the world, Johnathan Albury, do I post? It's very simple. You're going to post something I call the founder story. The first video on your page should tell your audience who you are, and I have there how your business started, but removing it from a business standpoint, what do you do as a professional? What can you offer? How can you help? So that can be something as simple as my name is Johnathan Albury, and I started my business to further inspire and to teach professionals how to use video to improve their businesses. And I can show you how to position yourself using video positioning. It does not be anything complicated, and it's not be anything where you need a massive script and teleprompter in your face. It's just something where you need to be able to clearly explain to the people watching your content of, okay, well, I know that when I click on Andrea's page, I know that I'm going to be taught about project management, and I'm going to be shown a little bit about international speaking. Because once again, going back to, still something. Once again, going back to the people, that niching down. Now you're able to attract that niche. Anyone who's not into public speaking or internet or project management, you gotta go. You're not my people. So that's that's my recommendation for a first post. You found the story. Because anyone scrolling through your content, they can clearly see, okay, well, this person does this, and this is what they can offer me. I have the choice now to stay and further engage, or if this isn't for me, I know I can go. All right. Once again, any questions about the founder story, or we're all good with that? Awesome stuff. Right. Carrying on. Yes, so when you make your first post, it may be terrible. It may get 2 views. The 2 views could come from your best friend and your significant other. Or in my case, what happened to me was I got one like and 1 views from my mom. She left a comment saying, "Good job, son. So proud." But the goal is not to chase vanity metrics. Vanity metrics are people who worry about likes, people who worry about the comments, people who worry about the follower counts. Those are vanity metrics. Those are good numbers to have, and the algorithm does use them. But what your sole focus is being able to position yourself using video. And I want you to think about, you could talk to one person. You could talk to 3 people. Now I want you to picture speaking to a room of 10 people. A little bit more nerve-wracking, right? Now picture 20 people. Are you nervous? This is a full crowd of people. Now let's move up to 30 people. You have to get in that certain mindset of when it's the same thing when it comes to the vanity metrics. Don't look at it as just, oh, it's only one person, only 2 people. As I show here, that one person could be your next client, could be your next employer, it could be your next referral. And I'll share a story of where I normally do not only just video content for my clients. I'm a Toastmaster, so I share content of me speaking. And it just so happens that the content I shared of me speaking led to a Toastmaster asking me to do video work for them. And that video that he saw, 10 likes, 2 comments. Some people will delete the whole video. But like I said earlier, that's 24/7 salesperson. That video is always circulating, and it'll always be there to remind people, hey, this person does this, and they could help you to learn to do that. So just a quick note that don't be embarrassed. Don't think I only got two likes. I only got 2 views with my founder story. I might as well give up. That's not, vanity metrics are not the focus. The focus is to make sure that the content you are producing are getting you leads or getting you moved up into the position that you want to be. Awesome. Okay, moving forward. Yes. So once again, another roadblock. Okay, Johnathan, I made my first post. What do I talk about now? And that's simple. Once again, people, message, medium. It always goes full circle. Go right back to the people. I'm sorry for picking on you so much, Andrea, but you're the only person where I can see their face. So I don't know how the other people are dealing with me right now. But once again, using Andrea as an example, she knows that her niche is project management professionals. And while that may be broad, it helps her to further be able to create her content. So she knows that as a project manager, she knows about the hell it can be to be a project manager. She knows the hell it can be to study for your PMP, your CAPM, or any of those other advanced certifications that you can get. So, with her knowing that, she can sit down and she can create content or she can create videos to help those going through the same experiences. So, let me give you a quick example that we all can relate to. You don't have to open your mics, but show of hands or a clapping emoji that I see Trudy doing or doing before. How many of us here have had issues with a coworker? Okay, one, maybe two hands. Awesome stuff. Good stuff. So I can fairly say we're all experts in dealing with coworkers. Now let me give you a scenario. Let's say that Nicole just recently got into an argument with a coworker, and despite everything she's tried to do, it's not helping. What advice would you give to Nicole? You see how you're already thinking about what you would tell Nicole? You would take that same thought, set up a camera, take out your phone, or write it down, and you would say, I would tell Nicole that she needs to get upper management involved. She needs to take the person out to lunch. So you see how you already have the experience to know how? Take that
I
same
don't think
thought.
I'm the best person to talk to Nicole because I'd tell Nicole quit that job.
Oh wow. But still, still with that, even with that, you can now take that response and you don't need a professional setup. I'll talk about that a little bit more, but you don't need a professional setup. You would simply position yourself and say, if I were to give Nicole advice, I would recommend to her to do X, Y, and Z. With that, that is your educational content. And if you can look here on the screen, I have your 80-20 split when it comes to content. There are different ways to do it, different formulas. Some people will also include entertainment in there. That's perfectly fine, but I understand that everyone in here is a professional and may not want to do the funny Instagram, TikTok videos. You may just want to be straight professional education. So you want to always lead. If that's you, I would say to lead with education because I believe it was either Gary Vaynerchuk who said whose book is jab, 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 cross. And all that means is that help, 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 promote. So when I say that, you want to make sure that you're constantly helping your audience, your target people, because what happens is that the more you help, the more people come back to you for said help. And then after you've helped, 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 oh, by the way, just so you know, I'm a project manager. I have 5 years of experience. If you need a project manager for your project, I am here. Help, 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 help. Also, by the way, I'm a videographer. I know how to create content to position you. If you need that, I am here. So you give so much help to the market, so much help to your industry that they're paying attention. And then you say, hey, just so you remember, here's what I do. So I recommend the 80-20 split between your educational content and then promote. Because if you flip that around, you get the salesman. You get the, hey, I do this. Will you buy? Oh, by the way, just so you know, here's how you solve that problem. But will you buy? People are really more inclined to deal with that type of content because they feel like they're being taken advantage of. Unfortunately, most all people are selfish, so they'll want that help first before they stick their hand back out to say, okay, well, let me help you. Awesome. Any questions on this? This makes sense?
I had a question.
Yes.
If you had any tips on like, creating content, like obviously we have Chat GPT and you can go
Yes.
in there and say, hey, give me 100 prompts or not 100 prompts, but 100 ideas for content. Do you feel like that's a good resource, or do you have you found that doing your own thing works better? Like any tips that have worked for you as far as like coming up with content ideas?
Thank you for that question. AI is a tool. AI is a tool. It is not to be full reliance, but it is there to assist. I use ChatGPT and I also use another software called Claude. More Claude than ChatGPT. And what I found from using it is that AI gets the ball rolling. But you don't want to over rely on AI because what happens is that all AI is doing is taking the prompts from other people, reformatting it, and spitting it back out to you. So you're getting the ball, you're getting more ideas, but what's happening is that your content, if you don't add that soul, your own soul and personality to your content, you get really bland content. So I would say to answer your question, I would say that you can use ChatGPT just to initially get the ball rolling. If you want to get some ideas on paper, if you what's the expression? Hit a wall, so to speak. If you hit that wall and you're like, I'm really stuck right now, you can go on ChatGPT and say, give me 5 ideas of videos I can do to help people who are learning to first use video. ChatGPT will spit out those 5 ideas, and it's now up to you as the human to take that tool and to say, okay, I like the idea of talking about lighting. However, I want to talk about lighting from this perspective. Okay, you gave me a prompt talking about the importance of audio, but I want to talk about the importance of audio in regards to this connection to video quality. So once again, I see the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a good tool to use, but it is just that it's a tool. Do not fully rely on it. Right. Moving forward. Yes. The algorithm is against me. And for those of you who don't know what this means, the algorithm is not your enemy. Facebook is known, my fault, Meta has been doing a lot of work to change that algorithm. And all that means is that the algorithm determines how many people will see your content. And they've been doing a lot of work to make sure that the algorithm showcases your people what they want to see. And a lot of creators are complaining, saying, oh, well, I have over 20,000 followers, and for some reason, only 10% of them are seeing my content. I'm not getting the same level of engagement. Once again, vanity metrics. Your ultimate goal is to make sure that you are positioned in the best light in front of the people who it matters the most to share your message to get you moving or to get you in the position that you want to be. So whenever you start posting and you don't see the results that you want, before you blame the algorithm, because there is those social media platforms, they do tend to get a little tricky. But I want you to stop and consider, okay, is my content actually reaching the right audience? That's number one. Is my message clear? And finally, am I posting consistent? This last one is the most important thing. You can't be upset that your content isn't performing when you post once a week. Remember what I said, share, help, 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 then promote. You can't help, disappear for 2 weeks, help, disappear for 2 more weeks, and expect to get the results that you want. This video positioning journey is something where it requires a lot of consistency. And there's no get rich quick or fast route to getting that position that you want. It requires consistent posting of helpful information before you see the results that you want. You just can't hit that one viral moment. I know everybody claims they want that one viral video will change your life forever, but a lot of people will tell you they get that viral video, they get that video with those vanity metrics, over a million shares, million likes, and nothing happens from it. What you want to ensure you're doing is consistent helping, and the clear message, and obviously reaching the right audience. Moving forward. Yes. And then to make this easier, I've created, well, not me. There's something called batch content creating. So essentially, you don't want to wake up one day and say, I want to talk about this. Post, then wake up the next day and try to figure out what you want to post. I'd recommend, and especially to Tanya's point, you want to, if you're going to make content, sit down, take a day, sit down, use ChatGPT, come up with your prompts as a tool to get the ball rolling. Sit down and write out the things you want to help people with or the videos you want to talk about. Because what that does is that prevents you or stops you from having to every day wake up and worry about what am I going to post. Then, once you have your planning day, use a separate day and record. So you can find a quiet space in your house, sit down, get a cup of coffee, get comfortable. It is just you and your phone. Get those first little jitters out. Oh my gosh, I'm talking to a camera. Get those initial jitters out and use a second day to record. Then, if you're more technical, you edit your videos, you can use a third day to edit videos, add graphics. Obviously, it depends on your technical level. Most people just add audio to the background. That's perfectly fine. That can be editing as well. And then for the last day, schedule your posts. Because as we all know, everyone here is busy from 9 to 5. And then we have I'm guaranteed we have some parents in attendance as well. So after 5, you're busy as well. So just take another day to simply schedule the posts. And all social media platforms have a feature where you can schedule your posts to be posted in advance. Thanks. Any questions about this, or it all makes sense?
I have a comment.
Okay.
I'm hearing everything that you're saying, but I'm already feeling exhausted. Like this sounds like I need to hire just a social media manager to manage the social media aspect of the business because this sounds like a job for someone else. Like honestly speaking, like it sounds like a lot. Like you said, plan out this content, and you want to be known as a subject matter expert and a thought leader and all these things. But do you think that these people who have all these followings and this social media presence that they do this stuff themselves?
Well, thank you for that question. No, they do not. And that's why earlier on in the presentation, when you asked me the question of why to stick to one platform, you see why. Because you could be planning for multiple different platforms, but you'll slowly be losing your mind because you'll be trying to handle different platforms. And to your point, yes, these are people's jobs. You have social media managers, you have social media marketers who handle this type of stuff, but especially for an individual who doesn't have the resources, I will always heavily recommend start with one platform. And like I said, this is not a sprint. This will not happen overnight. This will not happen because of one viral post. You're going to slowly be implementing these strategies over months, over years. But what happens is that as the more you stay consistent, you'll start noticing that once again, people will be reaching out to you for advice. Your employees, hey, I saw that video you did about project management. Hey, I have a project coming up. Can you please assist me? Which you'll start noticing that your name is getting out there and you're starting to enter into those different areas where you couldn't take yourself. So once again, yeah, it is a lot. So go ahead. No, Nicole, sorry.
I'm just curious, and there's everyone has a different opinion, I guess, but
Yes.
in terms of like posting consistently, what is appropriate per week? Like, is it twice a week? Is it obviously it's not 5 times a week? What like, how often should you actually be posting? Because yeah, I'm like Andrea, I'm don't want to be on social media all the time as
Yeah.
well. So I'm just curious.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that question. It depends on your schedule. And I know it doesn't really answer your question fully in terms of detail, but it does depend on your work life, your family life, your personal life. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, you need to be posting 4 times every day for the next 20 years, because that's not realistic. Everyone here has a different set of responsibilities they have to take a part of. My recommendation, my answer for someone starting out would just be 3 posts a week if you can. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday. You want to be sure that you're working around your schedule while still promoting yourself. And obviously, as you get more advanced, you become more comfortable with posting, you can increase if you want to. But the main thing is that you don't want to just kill yourself worrying about posting content. I know some people, they set timers, 5, 6 alarms. Okay, at 5 p.m. I have to post. Okay, it's 12, I have to post. No, you want to be sure that you want to ensure that this is something that can comfortably work around your schedule. Because the easier it is, the more likely you are to follow through with it. But thank you for that question, Nicole. All right. And yes. So, action steps, guidelines. There's always a call to action with every single presentation. That's the Toastmaster way. So where do you go from here? It is simple. The first week, you're just going to set up a professional profile. That's it. Not a business profile, a professional profile. If you already have a Facebook page, Instagram page, TikTok page, YouTube Short, whatever it is, I just want you to simply make it a professional page. And that means having a professional picture and having a clear description of what you do. Extra points to Gryffindor if you can have a website, but it's not needed. That's the first week. That's all you have to do for the first week. Make a professional page. Second, I want you to sit down and think about, okay, who are my people? What is my message? And what is the medium? Well, sorry, that would be in week 1. My apologies. So week 1, people, message, medium. Then from there, create your professional profile. My apologies. And moving on to week 2, you found the story. Now you get to say who you are and all the amazing things that you do. Doesn't have to be crazy. Doesn't have to be something where you hire a videographer, the lighting has to be perfect, the audio has to be crisp. No. Going to simply sit down, cup of coffee, the coffee lovers, comfortable room, no noise. Take out your phone. Hello, my name is Johnathan Albury, and I do this. I've had multiple years of experience in doing this. And once again, it will be embarrassing. It will be uneasy. You will be nervous. You will look at that video and you'll be like, I don't know if I should post this. Once the lighting is good, the audio is clear, there's no background noise. That's all you have to worry about. And then from there, you're going to hit post. That's going to be the hardest post of your life. Why? Because you're now bringing yourself forward in the audience, to the crowd. Before, behind the scenes, hey, I got certifications, got everything, but now you're actively bringing yourself forward and saying, hey, I do this, and I can help you with that. Awesome. That's the second week. Take the whole second week to do that. Third week, after you have your founders post, now it's time to actually sit down and say, what do I talk about next? So, once again, using Andrea as an example, she can sit down and say, okay, I know that a lot of Bahamians don't know where to go to achieve their CAPM certification. Hey, all right, my first video, where to start to obtain your project management certifications. And from there, okay, studying techniques for those looking to achieve their project management certifications. And you see how I'm flowing from idea to idea, because from the first point you have, it'll flow into, okay, I remember that when I was trying to achieve my certification, after I figured out how to do it, I had to study, and that was difficult. So I know that someone else may need some help with that. And then, okay, after I learned to study, what do I do after I get my certification? Because I need the job now. I need to promote myself. So those are just some ideas, but the third week is just sitting down and thinking about the different type pieces of content you can create. And then week 4 is the week to really get into the groove of things in terms of your posting consistency. So 3 pieces of content. It could be one Monday, one Thursday, one Sunday, one Tuesday, one Friday, one Sunday. Just to post 3 pieces of content. So that'll be your 4-week action plan. And then from there, you can recoup, get the nervous out, because you've consistently posted content. So, well, before I move on, any questions about that 4-week action plan, or it's clear? Good stuff. Awesome. Thank you. And then, yes, as I come to a close, I just want to further emphasize the point that while it may not seem like a very important step, while it may not seem like something that's massively important, I want you to think about any celebrity, any influencer. I mentioned Simon Sinek earlier. Well, over here in the Bahamas, we're big on Miles Monroe. You think about any of those people, they have content, and they have content for days. The reason why you know them is because of the content they produce. And all they did was take that piece of content and scale it up to the fact of where you can't not see them. So from there, opportunities just happen to naturally flow because, hey, if I need a public speaker, all I see is Miles Monroe. We're calling Miles Monroe. Who else would we call? And I forgot who it is. Oh, his name was evading me, but his name was evading me. But in the same aspect, I want you to keep that mindset of where whatever position you're trying to achieve or whatever placement you're trying to be in, the only thing separating you from being in that room, credentials help, experience helps a lot more. But if the people in the room don't know who you are, you're not getting in the room. So once again, I want to further encourage you guys and push the fact that you can use video anytime you're doing anything of importance. Anything. Walking your dog. If it's something where you want to be seen as that dog walking person, be willing to share that video, share that content to get you where you need to go. And a little bit of self-promotion. I am a videographer. My business is Creative Growth Digital Marketing Agency. We specialize in video positioning. We specialize in videography, commercials. We specialize in producing content for individuals as professionals and as brands. So if you're ever in the Bahamas and you need a videographer, you know who to come to. But once again, I want to thank you guys for bearing with me. And I think that with these last couple of minutes, we'll use them for a Q&A, if I'm correct. Awesome. So if there's any questions, feel free to go ahead.
Well, thank you so much, Johnathan, for an amazing presentation. That was very appealing to me as a professional, and you kind of spiked me a little bit because I can really improve on my visibility. And what you said about, well-known world global leaders and speakers, they have a visibility that's next to none. And I can attest to this. When I went to Kenya, everyone basically was asking me, say, you know Miles Monroe, you know Miles Monroe. Like Miles Monroe was a Bahamian, but his brand was so global and so expansive that everyone around the world, it seems like they know Miles Monroe. And that's because he was very intentional about building his brand, making sure that he was visible. And I think he was more well known outside of the Bahamas than in the Bahamas. So that says a lot to what we need to learn as professionals. And so here is a lesson for you to take away. You said that if persons who are on this call or maybe watching the recording later, if they're in the Bahamas, that this is the services that you offer, but you're speaking to a global audience, right? So don't just say limit yourself to the Bahamas. Your services can be to anyone anywhere in the world. So whoever's watching this and you need a videographer, Johnathan is here, his services are here, and we're building global brands because in the Bahamas, we have less than 500,000 people in our population. That's not enough people to make all of us billionaires, right? So we need to have millions and billions of people in the world at our disposal to sell our products and services to. So that's why we have to have the global leaders mindset. So do we have any questions for our amazing speaker? Does anyone wants to come off of mute and ask Johnathan a question about this presentation that he just gave us?
Hi, Johnathan. Question. I don't have a problem with fear of being seen. Well, I don't have a problem of being judged by others, but I do enjoy my privacy a lot. When I mean a lot, I do, and I do enjoy my own company a lot, right? So I'm battling the essence of how do I know I need to be seen to get where I want to be, right? And also having the space of my own privacy and enjoying my own solitude, because that's important for my mental health. So that's what I'm battling. And how do I present that? Because I have been racking my brain about that for a long while now. That's why, and I have to go with things that align with me, like I test the waters type of person. And if it does, I just drop it and move on. So how do I battle that?
Yeah, thank you for that question. It's something where I too, surprise, surprise, I'm a very private person. I don't like being constantly bothered by people, especially when it's me time. I have two answers to your question. The first, the first response is that depending on how far you go, depends on how much of that privacy you have to give up. Because if it's something of where you're trying to, let's say, improve your business, if you have a business, you're gonna have to put yourself out there a little bit more in order to get that trust for people to want to sponsor or subscribe to your business. So unfortunately, it is kind of a catch-22. From the higher I have to go, the more I present myself forward. And that's leadership all around. When as a leader, if everything goes well, you get the glory. If everything goes bad, you get blamed. So I would say my first response would to be decide how far you want to go or how much you want to expose, and then be willing to set that boundary to say, okay, well, I know that I'm willing to only post 2 videos because after that, too many people bother me. So two videos, that's me for the week. I'm off social media for the rest of the week. That's me. And then my other response to your question would to simply be, well, it plays off of the first response. It would be to use the power of scheduling. You don't have to constantly be engaging with social media. And this is something where I took a sabbatical from social media, I want to say about 4 months ago. It was getting a little bit too much. And that's social media does have the habit of doing that. You're consuming so many different opinions and so many different ideas that it can get overwhelming. So definitely use the power of, okay, I have my 3 pieces of content. I'm going to schedule them for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'm deleting well, not deleting your profile, but I'm deleting the app. I don't even want the app on my phone. That way you still have your privacy, still have your seclusion. No one can reach, no one can bother you. But you know that in the background, your content is still 24/7 salesperson, still working, still promoting you. So when you want to peek through the blind, so to speak, to see, okay, well, what's social media doing? People will come back to people saying, okay, well, yes, we still know what you do and how you do it, but you were gone for a little while. Is everything okay? So that'll be my two responses to one, use the scheduling feature, and then two, be willing to find that line of privacy and stepping forward.
Thank
Hopefully,
you so
oh,
much. I appreciate it.
yeah,
Hopefully that will work.
yeah,
I'll try to see how best because that's the reason why I don't really like social media but I realize I need it, you know,
yeah.
because that for me, my, it can be, I realize it is overwhelming looking out there and seeing, and I do what others do not enjoy. I enjoy just talking to people face to face more than
Mhm.
this facade that sometimes I'll call it. Uh, People are not being real sometimes,
Yeah.
and how do I navigate that? And that's for me why I've been staying away. Is
Yeah.
the truth. Been staying away deliberately, but
Yeah.
I know I need it. But
Yeah.
having that would not lose me in who I am as a person, that is most important to me
Yeah.
than to have this out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely say to be be willing to use your each platform should have some a feature called not interested, obviously block, unfollow. Use them. Because I agree with you 100%. There's been times when you're scrolling through social media and you see whether it be political, personal, um, very biased opinions, and it does take a drain on your mental health. And I, as someone where I reached that point and I had to step away from those apps. So be willing to use the feature of where, hey, not interested in this type of comment. I don't want to see this type of post, unfollow. Curate your social media to where you see exactly what you want to see. It shouldn't be to a point where you're struggling to open it up because you don't know what you'll see. Yeah.
Can I add to that and ask
Yes.
your thoughts on something? I definitely relate to KW. That's been a battle for me. It's like you feel like you're kind of opening up your life. And so I guess my question is, what are your thoughts on I've seen some content creators do video where they're basically like kind of filming their actions, but then they just do like a voiceover. And a lot of times it might just be a short. Like they
Mhm.
don't do long form video, they just do shorts only, and they're successful. And to me, that feels a little bit maybe more, less invasive.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on short video form versus long term or long form
Awesome.
video form? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that question. It's well going back to the triangle. If your audience engaged with type of content, which most of them are, do it. I'm not gonna subscribe to one or the other. I'll just say that whatever you find works for you, get you the results that you want, lean more into that. We are, unfortunately, we are a generation of where the attention span is just slowly dwindling as we go on and on. But you'll definitely see short form content is useful. If your people push for that, use that. And you mentioned a very good point of voiceover. And that can be definitely when you're starting out, you can use that video voiceover feature. I recommend it to people. However, there's a deeper level of connection when you set up that camera and your face is on the camera and you're speaking to a person. When you, and it's the same thing when you're in person. If you can't see a person's face and you're talking to them, you still get the connection of the voice. But when I show you my face, you look into my eyes, you get to see a little bit more, you get to engage a little bit more. So definitely starting off, if you want to use that voiceover feature, just recording what you're doing throughout the day. You're doing get ready with me as I go to the mall. And you're creating content like that, just voicing over your actions. You can. However, think about where you want to go with your end goal. If you want to position yourself for a leadership position, you can't leave me like this. You have to leave me like this. That'd be my response to you.
I was just going to add for folks too, when we were talking about the apps, like you can also set timers on your phone, right? Or like I actually turn mine completely off. So if I want to go on it, I have to make an effort to go and activate it for 5 or 10 minutes. So you can always try to, if you're struggling with social media, like turn them off and then, use them as needed. I think it would be a suggestion. I was also going to mention, like, if you're doing video content and related to the first person who was talking about like privacy, like, yes, I'm also like not anti-social media, but I've been trying to move away from it. Like, I've basically turned off Facebook completely, and I'm really only checking LinkedIn like once or twice a week. But just being like aware of where you're doing your videos and making sure like your personal, like your address is not identifiable, like you're not at a place that someone can easily identify where you are, where you're going to be. Just things that aren't too personal so that it becomes a privacy issue in terms of if someone can identify where you live, for example. So just be careful about that as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Great points.
But I will quickly share my experience with social media because I started my company, I started this community of practice, and I started Toastmasters all during the pandemic. So all I knew was being in these little black boxes on the screen online all the time. And when we were able to come out of, isolation and start to socialize again, and I went to a networking event and I approached this group of ladies that were in this corner and they were talking and I wanted to introduce myself. And I just said, "Hi, I'm Andrea." And one of the ladies stopped me and she said, "Oh, we know who you are. You live on LinkedIn." And I was taken aback because I'm like, I don't live on LinkedIn. I was just forced to be on LinkedIn because that's how we socialize and that's how we engage during the pandemic. We had no other choice. We were locked down. And that was my first interaction after being able to come and socialize. So it kind of put me back inside the house. And I'm like, if this is how I'm going to be approached, I'm not coming out anymore. So it's like a catch 22, like you said. It has its good points and it has its bad aspects of it as well. So it's just being able to use it in moderation for its purpose, intended purpose. But overuse can give the illusion that you're disengaged and you don't really interact and you're not a social person, which I'm not a very social person, but I don't expect to be treated like I live on LinkedIn when I do venture outdoors. So that's an experience I had that was very unfortunate, but it hasn't discouraged me from socializing, but it's just an eye opener as how people can perceive your interactions on social media. So when you think you're doing something positive, people translate it into something totally different than what you intended it to be. So that's all I wanted to say with that analogy. So Johnathan, if you'll stop sharing screen, we can conclude our meeting. I just want to give you a little bit of recognition on behalf of BAPMC. I want to tell you that we greatly appreciate you coming and presenting for us this evening. And this is our certificate of appreciation that we will share on social media. Just to say thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you for an amazing session that was full of valuable information. Like I have a notebook full of notes and screenshots that I will definitely be putting into practice because I think uh, a lot of times we feel as though social media can be overwhelming. I know I feel that way sometimes, but it has its purpose. And like every tool, we have to figure out how to leverage these tools so that we can benefit from using the tools. Don't let the tools overwhelm us. We have to use the tools to maximize our brand, our professional brand, and to be able to be more seen and visible and to create opportunities. So that's really what it's all about. And I thank you for explaining that to us, that it doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be strategic. And that's what you gave us, those strategic steps on how we can do this. And this is not something that's just for professionals. This is for everyone to implement. And you broke it down where I'm sure Nicole has a strategy, Tania has a strategy, KW has a strategy. We all was able to learn how we can implement this starting from day one, week one, and we will try our best to implement these strategies moving forward. So thank you for imparting your knowledge, and thank you for being a part of BAPMC this evening. And thank you to all our newcomers, our first timers. We didn't get to hear where all of you were joining us from, but thank you for being a part of BAPMC. We are here the last Thursday of every month with a new subject matter expert sharing on topics ranging from project management, leadership. Tonight, we're talking about using video to build your professional brand. So you let us know what topics you want to learn about. You want us to bring a speaker, you can reach out to us. I shared my LinkedIn contact in the chat as well as Johnathan's LinkedIn contact. So please stay connected with our community. And we definitely enjoyed having you here. Please join us next month. Stay connected to our Meetup page where we will list what that next month's topic is going to be all about. Again, my name is Andrea Pratt-Smith. I'm the founder of the Bahamas Agile Project Management Community, and it was a pleasure having you. So before we conclude, I'll give the final words to our speaker, Johnathan Albury, to close us out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the certification. It's, like I said, joyful, Johnathan. I'm just very, very joyful to be here and able to share my experiences with you guys. Like I said, once again, it's a huge passion of mine. You, despite your shortcomings, your background, visibility is of the utmost importance. So definitely, once again, don't be afraid to share what you do. Don't be afraid to share with the world your specialties, your unique abilities, I like to say. So once again, just keep creating. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good night.
you. Good night.
Good night,